Welcome to Stunt Stories. I'm Corey Eubanks. And today I am very honored to have on my show a longtime friend of mine, one of the most well-rounded, successful stuntmen in the industry, Mr. Phil Culotta. Phil, thank you for being on my show.
Thank you, Corey. How's it going?
Things are going good, buddy. You know, it's scary to think how long you and I have known each other and how long we've been in this crazy, crazy business.
Yep. Yeah. I'm going on 40 years.
40 years.
40 years, baby.
Man, you know, I was looking at your IMDb credits and they can't be right because I know that you've done more than 168 credits.
Yeah, so I don't follow the whole IMDb so well, and I don't add stuff that should be added and all that stuff.
I know you wonder how they even get these credits. You know how they've accumulated them all.
Yeah.
But, hey, you know something that I have never known about you as much as I've worked with you and I've worked for you, and we've worked together on films and TV shows.
Yeah.
How the heck did you get into the industry? What was your desire to become a stuntman?
Well, so, I'm third generation growing up in California right here, Southern California kid, right? So by the time I was getting out of high school, all I was doing was martial arts, surfing, racing motocross, racing mountain bikes, and rock climbing and all that stuff. And I didn't have much of a career. My mom was a wardrobe gal, and
so she was in the industry, in the film industry.
Yeah, she started out as an extra, and she actually was doubled for Farrah Fawcett Majors and stood in for her on the $6 Million Man.
Oh wow, your mom must have been beautiful.
Back with Vince Diedrich Sr. And I think Junior was the stand-in at that time for Lee Majors.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so your mom kind of exposed you to the industry.
Yeah, and I didn't like it because I figured that's the reason my folks got divorced, But with all that being said, I was doing all those things, didn't know what to do, and me and my best friend who I grew up with, we were going to join the Navy, and I was going to go be a Navy SEAL. That's what I was going to do.
Oh, no kidding. Wow,
yeah.
That's a tough road.
Right. Well, I didn't have much more to do, right? Figured I'd just go around the world and surf. And I was out on my road bike working out, and I rode by my mom's, which I did often. And over there was a guy by the name of John Moyle.
I know that name very well.
Very well. And my mom introduced, because my mom was begging me not to get into the military, right? I mean, she was like begging me not to get into the military. And of course, I asked that famous question, what's the scariest thing you ever did, And John said, what do you say? He said he did a rappel down into a well or something, or he did some rappel somewhere. I'm like, a rappel's the scariest thing I ever did. And then I was watching that Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous, and they were asking that guy, that guy who did that, asked the guy, how do you become rich and famous? He goes, you got to find something you like to do and figure out a way to make a living at it. And then it's not like work, and you'll do it all the time. And I was desperately trying to figure out how I was going to make money doing what I was doing, right? Kind of like you probably. And it all hit right there, stunts. And I'm like, I could do that. I could do all this. I was 18 years old, and I told John, how do I become a stuntman? And he said, you got to be background for 2 years,
I didn't know that was one of the requirements.
Well, that's what I was told then.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you think?
When I was 18, I literally was just out of high school. I lived on my own, and so I didn't know what I was doing. Right. And that was it.
So, I mean, do you think that was something John told you just to try to deter you from getting into the industry? Because every time you'd meet a stunt coordinator or a stuntman, they would always, nah, you don't want to be in this business. They always shoot it down like it was a bad idea.
Right. So that's like 1981, 82, 81, 80, 81. And I mean, it's a completely different business, as you know, man. You just didn't get to do stunts because you wanted to do stunts, right? So yeah, it's a deterrent, to see if you were serious, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And then I spent about a year, 8 months doing that, and a guy by the name of Mike Vendrell took a liking to me, and him and Greg Barnett, and that was that. And Mike was like, "No, you're not doing extra work, dude. You're doing stunts. You're with me."
Yeah, he saw it in your eyes. It's like when I first, and I'm trying to recall when did you and I first meet? Do you?
Gosh dang, that's hard to pinpoint. I was thinking about that too, and
I can't remember if it was on a set. Obviously, we were working together. It might have been for John Moyle on Hollywood Beat.
Was it? I didn't meet you on Hollywood Beat when I got hit with the clipboard. Do you remember?
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. When John smacked you with the clipboard. But I just remember when I first met you and I saw your eyes and I thought, this crazy son of a bitch will do anything. You have that look. You have that look like, you're not afraid of anything, and you're not. I mean, gosh, Phil, the stunts that you've performed throughout your career are the biggest, baddest, wildest stunts that anyone. I mean, you're at the top levels, but I mean, you guys going off and doing all those Fast and Furious movies and all the vehicular stunts you've done, and not just.
Well, Corey, I really appreciate all that, but like you and I mean, I followed your tracks as much as I could, as a young stunt guy, because you in the cars and I mean, that's how you got to know how to do stunts, right? You got with guys who were better than you, when we'd show up and.
Yeah, but you're one of those guys though is so well rounded. You're like Vince Dedrick Jr. was, or there's certain stuntmen that that just, I mean, like a guy like a Rex Reddick who could just do anything and everything. You're good on a motorcycle. You could surf. You could do fights. You could do car hits. You could do car crashes. You can act. You could do everything, and it's just. I don't see that in today with the new stunt guys and stunt girls. I see it being more, they're a specialty. I do this, or I do that.
Yeah. I see that too. And, I don't like jumping out of cars as much as I used to. I think only Denny still likes to do that one at 30 miles plus,
Oh my God. There is a tough son of a bitch right there. Denny Pierce.
He's I put him right up there with Terry Leonard.
Yes. Remember Denny Pierce invented that, I don't even know what you call it, where he's running forward. And
his little three-quarter gainer to his face.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw him do that, and I thought, holy shit, man. I saw him do that going downstairs.
Yeah.
Just crazy, tough guy.
Yeah. Denny is, and he's still, man, he'll still go just that big, Corey. He's amazing.
I know. Hey, let me ask you something. What did you do on the movie Three Amigos?
Oh my gosh!
Because it says
Jerry Gatlin, right?
As Phil Culotta. So you played yourself.
Was that Gatlin doing that, right? And I was working with me and Marguerite Happy, and it was the pillaging of the town, and I was one of the villagers. And who's the director of that? That was what's the guy's name that had the helicopter accident? The director that got
Vic Morrow.
It was Vic Morrow directing that thing, right? And Marguerite and myself were in a burning building, and they had like fire block around us, and I could hear the director yelling, "Turn the propane tanks upside down, damn it, or fire!" Right? And Marguerite and I are in this thing, and we're about to run into the like stampeding horses, right? They want us to get run over by the horses, which is hard to do because the horses don't want to run you over anyways. And I'm looking at Marguerite going, I don't give a shit, Marguerite. If it gets any hotter, we're out of here, man. They call that. This is the craziest stuff. It was so crazy.
Oh,
imagine doing that today.
Hey, what did you do on what was it? Maniac Cop.
Maniac Cop, Spiro, right?
Spiro Rosados.
Well, I think I was there when you, was that the one where you, no. Yeah, didn't we have you freaking crash into something there, the boat? Didn't you hit the boat? Was that Maniac Cop?
I don't know if that was Maniac Cop. You mean the pipe ramp through the trailer that landed on the boat and it blew up?
Yeah.
I don't remember what that was.
Yeah, I got shot and killed there, and then when Spiro did that brandy off the freaking into the wharf into the water.
Yeah, man, that was super cool. He was a hell of a gymnast, wasn't he?
He was a crazy fearless stunt guy. Yeah, he did some stuff, man, and not a lot of people know that.
No, he was a crazy gymnast. And also back when they were first doing those ratchets and really ratcheting people, great distances and heights, and he was at the top of that. I saw that crazy shit. I thought, wow.
And the ratchets and the ratchets when we did ratchets to the ground, right?
Yes.
Do you remember it was a ratchet to the ground? You weren't doing a ratchet to pads. Who did ratchets to pads?
No, maybe on a rehearsal, and then we'd yank the pads out. I remember because I had only done maybe 3 or 4 ratchets ever, and it was on either Maniac Cop 1 or 2 or one of those little films we were doing with Spiro, and there was 3 of us in a line, and we all had ratchets. We're going to be ratcheted back into this wall. And the camera guy, I was in the foreground, and the camera guy's like, "You're stacked up with the other 2. Could you just step back a half a foot?"
Oh, you got slack?
And I got slack in my line. And I had no idea what that was going to do to me, Phil. And it snatched me so freaking hard. I think right out of my boots, man. I'm like, and then after that, I forget who it was. And then like, "What are you, an idiot? Man, you never put slack in your line. You always got to lean into it." I go, "Well, I know that now."
It had to be Lane. It had to be Lane setting it up, right?
Yeah, probably so. Hey, I hate to ask you this question, but it is asked all the time. And you even mentioned it earlier. But what would you say, what was that one stunt that you did that you thought to yourself, this is by far the most dangerous stunt or situation that I'm in that you didn't feel comfortable with, that you thought, man, this really could go bad?
That for me happened, because I've screwed enough stuff up to last a lifetime, But
I'm right there with you, buddy.
That was Fast 7 for me, Corey. On Fast 7, I had that moment.
Oh, really?
And it was in the middle of the sequence there, because I was doubling Paul Walker on second unit, and it was when we were pushing the bus off the cliff, and we were in Georgia, and they had that bus on its side on like railroad track, about 150 feet of railroad track on its side. And I'd already done all the stuff out the window hanging off that 130-foot cliff, 130, 140-foot cliff. I was cussing Andy the whole time, man, because it was crazy. And now it's time to push that bus off the cliff, and Brian McLight and them dudes had me in a rig, right? So I didn't go to the ground, but nobody knew what was going to happen because they were starting the bus probably 100 feet from the cliff, and they had intentionally designed a giant ratchet on like 3/4 to 1 down below to pull it and release it off. And at the last minute, they abandoned that idea, and they decided to get a grade-all to push it. Am I making sense?
Yeah, you are. I've got a visual.
Right. So now I'm standing on the side of this thing, and you know how it goes on a big gag. It's getting late in the day. We've been at it all day, right? Everyone's freaking out. They've abandoned that plan. And there's no rehearsal. There's no rehearsal. We never rehearse. There's nothing to practice. The rigging team is making it up, right? Figuring how fast no one knows how fast I'm going to go when they start pushing this thing with the grid all, right?
Oh God.
And I remember I'm standing up there and it's getting late, and I'm on top of this thing. I've been up there for probably like 3 hours standing up there kind of waiting, and I watched, what was our main special effects guy's name? He's giant. But I watched him walk up to the grade-all driver, and he starts talking to him, and the grade-all driver's, saw, the helicopter, we're getting 2 helicopters in the air, all that, he's one of those, right? And the guy does the cross like he's going to church after he gets talked to, like, and does a little prayer. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Oh my God, you're thinking what?
No,
oh
and,
shit!
I'm facing back to the cliff, so I'm going blind, and I got marks I got to get to, and last minute I see MacLight run out, and they're freaking out because they're thinking that if they miss me and I swing back, that I'm going to now hit the grade off, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you're going to pendulum back into it.
I'm going to pendulum, because nobody knows if the bus is going to flick me when the front goes off. Is it going to flick me, or if it's going to go down? You know, everyone's trying to, is it going to flick them up? Is it going to do a big teeter and lift me, 20 feet in the air, So all that stuff. So yeah, there was a lot going, and then you never want to screw up, right? And I'm going, I have so much potential for screw up. This sucks. And I remember everyone screaming and yelling, and they're trying to wrap a couple pads around the grade all. And I told them, I go, just leave no fucking pads. And I'm just figuring, I'm going, if I hit the grade all, I'm going to hit the grade all to break it. That's just what I was thinking, right? Because there was no going back. I wasn't going to go back. I was going no matter what, And, and then they started, and then they called action, all the helicopters in there. They started pushing that stupid bus, dude. And it was the bumpiest, shakiest ride. If you've seen it, when you see the Paul Walker character running across.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand on the thing because it was so bumpy, right? And I had just so happened to put a couple footholds and handholds just in case. And I actually had to bend down and grab them and pin myself. And I looked underneath my armpit for my marks coming up, And then when my marks came up, I just went for it.
God,
and it all turned out perfect. And yeah.
Oh,
that was one of those gags, and that's when I'll remember there's a lot going on, and I just,
Wow. Hey, that's intense, by the way. You know what? I don't know. I mean, as you were telling me the story, I started envisioning it, and I started trying to compare it to situations that I've been in, and I'm like, no, nothing came remotely close to that.
Yeah, I don't know, Corey, because some of the stuff you guys do in those cars, and
yeah, but we got roll cages around us and we got helmets on.
Yeah,
it's different. When it's just your exposed body, it's like being on a motorcycle. It's like you feel like you're naked, man. It's like you're exposed, and that grade all that thing would have that solid steel that would have sucked.
That would have sucked.
Hey,
but I was gonna try to break it. Let me tell you, I was going. If I'm going at that, I'm gonna break it. That's exactly.
That's that Phil Culotta that I met. That's that when I saw that look in your eyes, I'm like, gosh darn it, this guy will fricking go for it, man. Hey, do you care to share with us the story that I know that you told me, which is pretty kind of funny but not funny at all? The return to the Blue Lagoon.
When I hit my head.
What an understatement. When you hit your head.
Yeah.
Didn't you dive off of a rock?
Yeah.
That was how high?
Oh, that rock was about 18 feet to my feet.
And from my understanding, the story you told me, they had built a platform just underneath the surface of the water, correct?
So it was Return of the Blue Lagoon, Mila Milkovich, and Brian Krause. I remember I was coordinating and doubling Brian, And, so we had this huge pool. I was planning on doing like an 85-foot jump into that thing because it was gorgeous. And I had dove the lagoon and everything. And, but they kind of changed and pivoted, and they want Mila and Brian in there, and they wanted Mila topless. Well, she's a minor, right? So why she was topless in the water, my back was always turned to the scene, and I wasn't paying attention to the scene, right? Because she's topless in the water. And I didn't realize that morning to put her topless, they had put an underwater platform for them to stand underneath the waterfall right across the hole where I had previously checked to dive. So I happened to be up on this lower rock at lunch. And when they called lunch, my DP and everybody were in a Zodiac, and they yelled, told me to. They said, "Come on, let's go to lunch. Dive in." I looked, saw my hole, and I went for a big ass swan dive, and I dove straight into that platform. I was in Taveuni island called Taveuni in Fiji. Not a dirt road, not a hospital, not nothing.
Oh,
and
man.
I ended up.
Did it knock you unconscious?
Did not knock me unconscious, but I had a full thickness, scalp laceration that went from above my eye all the way to my ear. I'd cut my full thickness all the way kind of through my nose and down through my lip. I did a scorpion. I just reverse tacoed, and yeah, it was bad.
I remember you told me that you were laying inside of a tent and there was a bunch of flies and someone was trying to.
Yeah. So they scooped me up, hiked me because there's a trail. We were up a trail, and I was in a hut on a dirt floor, laid there for about 4 hours as our set medic, who was an Australian ER doctor, sewed my face up with no Novocaine and my head. And took about 3.5, 4 hours there. And then I went to my hotel room.
Oh my God.
It was not good.
Oh,
man.
dude.
Not good, dude. It was not good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, you mentioned performing stunts for Paul Walker, and did you get a chance to get to know him?
So, I was the second unit stunt double, right? Oakley Lehman is his double and friend. I never got to meet Paul Walker because we never see the cast on second unit.
Yeah.
So that's Oakley, but I know Paul. I know Paul was probably one of the most normal, nicest actors
ever. Yep.
Ever. The guy was always just remembered where he came from, and he just never let go of that.
I met him down in South Beach, Miami, when we were doing Too Fast, Too Furious, and we were on the freeway, and it was kind of hot, and he just kind of walked over and he goes, "Hey, you mind if I sit in the car with you?" And he opened the door and got in, and we started talking, and where are you from and all that stuff, and realized, he was from Santa Barbara. And I'm like, yeah, I live up there near Santa Barbara. And we started talking about playing guitars, and he was wanting to learn how to play guitar and all that. What an awesome guy. And really took a liking to him. And I thought, as you know, you and I have met so many actors up and coming, and they're nice and they're sweet and they're polite and respectful. And then you meet them a few years later, and they're these assholes that have these egos, and they pretend like they don't remember you. Like, it's him.
Nuts.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
Just, insane.
Welcome to Hollywood, baby, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Hey, what did you do on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Oh my God. Which
Out of the Shadows.
Is that the last one, or?
I don't know. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's Out of the Shadows. That was back in 2016.
Oh, what? Dude, I almost got killed on that show.
Did you really?
Yeah, so I was on there. I went down there. That's the girl. And me and Justin Sundquist were the guys attached to the side of the armored truck trying to cut into it, while the team of crazies and all the cars come up, and the turtles try to take us out up there, with their little dump truck and all that crap. So,
where were you guys filming that? What country were you in?
We were in Buffalo. Nights on the freeway. Freezing.
Oh my gosh, Buffalo can get so freaking cold.
And then I got hit with a piece of 12-inch truss, bro.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Where did it strike you? Where did it hit you?
I was strapped to the side of the armored truck, right? We were up on the roof trying to cut our way in. So we had like 2-inch angle iron so we could stand on. And then because we had welders up there, I actually had 2 3/16 cables attached to my climbing sutra vest, because they were afraid if I hit, tech line, I'd cut the line, I'd be off, and onto the freeway road. So I was pinned up there pretty tight. And on the way back to one, there was a piece of truss sticking out of one of the trucks, and that truck had encroached forward on our mark, and it ended up pinching me in the back and then trapping me up there. And then both cars continued to go forward direction.
Wow.
And the truss actually broke on my back. I broke 12-inch truss.
Damn.
Swami was the
Special effects. What a great guy.
I know. He came up to me, he goes, Phil, not only have I never seen truss break, I've never seen it break on a human body. He goes, you're the toughest son of a bitch I ever met. And I'm taking that piece of truss and I'm cutting it out and I'm going to put it on a frame for you. And he did.
Did he really? Oh,
yeah, it's in my shop.
Oh.
And then that's when Vicker started getting on me to coordinate more. He's like, dude, come on, man.
Hey, do you still have like on your bucket list? Is there a stunt that you haven't done? I mean, you've done, I would think, everything by now. But is there still some stunt that you've always wanted to do that?
A bucket list stunt, huh?
Or is it out of your system?
You know, I love being a stunt guy, right? I mean, the people we've met, Corey, and got to be with, and the different friendships.
And you've traveled all over the world.
Travel all over the world. Worked on some pretty cool movies. Bucket list. I always wanted to work on a James Bond film.
Really?
Yeah, and now James Bond is dead.
So I don't think that's going to happen, Phil.
Did you see the last Bond?
No.
Oh, that's a spoiler alert.
Is it really? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
They killed James Bond.
Anybody listening down those? Oh, thanks, Phil. That's how it ended.
They killed James Bond. He's dead.
Oh. Wow. I guess that's the end of that franchise. Hey, what did you do on Pirates of the Caribbean?
Pirates of the Caribbean, probably the most favorite film I ever worked on.
What? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, just because it was everything that being a stunt, especially the first one, right? With Gore Verbinski directing and being a pirate and swinging from ship to ship and pillaging and raping. Come on, man. It was all that. We were in the West Indies on an island in the middle of nowhere. I was with Denny Pierce there, and it was, so we were pirates swinging from ship to ship, and I was a red coat. We did everything. It was great. George Rugi was the stunt coordinator, and it was a great, fun film, and we just did everything. It was a blast.
Well, what did you do on Death Race?
Death Race, I was doubling Statham out there, and we were in Montreal, and I was first unit stunt coordinator also.
And you also worked on Me, Myself, and Irene.
Yes,
I worked on that too.
That was with Combsy.
Oh, you were with Gil Combs?
I was out there with Combs, and Rick Barker was coordinating. We were in, I don't even know where we were. It wasn't LA. And when that car comes crashing through the diner, I'm in the diner.
Oh, diving out of the way.
Driving the car? No. Who was this? Who was driving? I don't even remember who was driving.
Was it Pat Banta, maybe?
I think it was Pat Banta. I don't know if Pat was actually driving or if it was Gil actually doing that driving. Because, Gil is very special behind the wheel,
Yep, he's a very talented man.
Dude, I learned so much from Gil Combs. Gil Combs is one of my personal, lifelong good friends. And I've been such a bad friend because after he had to retire and all that stuff, and everything's been going on with him, and he moved up to Utah, I haven't talked to him a whole heck of a lot. And I've been a horrible friend.
Yeah, you have been, Phil, and I think you should feel really bad about yourself.
I do, man. I was listening to him, man. The things he has done and who his family is, is amazing.
It is. It's very impressive, and he's so humble. He's such a humble guy. Hey, what did you do? I had him on my show not too long ago, and I just scratched the surface of his career. I'm going to have him on again. What did you do on the Lone Ranger?
Oh, no, I didn't do. I was in that. They had me there because I'm a horse. I do some equestrian stuff too, obviously, right? A little bit of everything, right? And they just had me in that train, when that big white horse goes galloping through, or you lope that horse through there.
Yeah.
See the train. And the funniest thing is the AD goes, "Hey, Phil, all right, you guys, so if this horse gets out of shape, just jump in front of it and throw your body in front of it and knock the horse back in.
He doesn't know much
That's what
about
I did.
horses.
I just started laughing. I go, that's gonna look great.
Oh my God. Hey, now you are now staying pretty darn busy stunt coordinating. I mean, I know you still do stunts and still, as we would say, still carrying a stunt bag. What advice would you give to the new guy or new girl, a stunt performer coming into the industry? What advice would you give them as far as launching their career?
Launching your career, wow. You just gotta stay with it, right? You gotta train hard and learn as much as you can, and remember, you're a filmmaker, not a thrill seeker, right?
Yeah, that's a big difference.
And that's the biggest difference, because we do a lot of gnarly, heavy stuff, right? And right? But at the same time, it's not like, I don't know. When I was a young stunt guy, everything was how fast, how high, how much higher, how many flips, twists, and turns can we do in it, right? And I didn't realize until I was older that wasn't ready to coordinate until I was ready to settle down and learn how to tell a story. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It totally does.
Because, especially when I was younger, remember it would be like, how fast can we go? How high can I go? How far can I, will I get in this turnover? Everything was making it bigger, bigger, bigger. I was never thinking, well, why are we here? What's the story saying why we're here? And will this make for a better story, right?
No, we just wanted to show off.
Go big. Who could go big and who could go hard?
Yeah. Gosh, dang it. Back in those days and wouldn't you think that back in the 80s, really that was like the best years to be a Hollywood stuntman?
Dude, so I still have my original business cards that say Hollywood stuntman. It was crazy, right? Literally, you look down that street, there would be a show going. You'd be over there'd be a fight going. Over there'd be a high fall happening. All television and feature films, right?
Yeah.
Shot right here in Hollywood.
And no CGI.
No CGI, dude. And when I got in, and I know when you got in, if they were going to give you an opportunity, they're going to test your heart.
Yes.
There's a lot of I think there's a lot of stunt people in the business who've never had their hearts checked.
I know for a fact what you just said is true.
And so I know you can't do that anymore, and you can't stick a guy in front of a car or whatever gag you're going to put up, or they're going to, that because liability is a driving factor of filmmaking anymore,
What is you've done a lot with weapons, with guns, with knives, with all kinds of stuff. What is your take on the situation, the unfortunate
arrest
shooting? Yeah, with Alex Baldwin.
So, as well as I know, because dude, you're a bigger stuntman than I'll ever be.
That's not true.
I don't know what's true and what's not true. The rumors coming off that show, but if that AD pulled the gun off the cart and handed it to Alec, I've never seen that. Have you?
Never, ever.
Okay.
The armorer carries it to the actor.
Never, right? So I heard that. I'm like, I had a hard time believing that. And then the other thing I have a hard thing believing is there was actual ammo on the set.
Phil, you and I both know, brother, that is a absolute no-no. Never ever happen. No.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
And then to top it off, to hear he was actually pointing the gun down and someone was on the other side of the pointed barrel.
And pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
which is another no that you just don't do. And that's the thing that I just scratched my head and go, wait a minute. It's not like this guy was only in the industry for a short period of time and was oblivious to all of these rules and the protocol. He's handled weapons before. He knows how dangerous guns are. You never do that and point a gun at someone. And also in the story that they were telling, as you were talking about, telling what we do, we tell stories. He was not to pull the trigger. The gun was not to be fired. So
I don't get it. So, and then there was a live round in it. I mean, come on, man. I don't know.
Did you know that first AD was the same? From what I was told, I don't know this for a fact, but I was told that first AD was the same first assistant director. I don't know if he was a first assistant director at the time, but when Brandon Lee was killed
on Crow.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that. That. I mean,
we hear a lot of things. We hear a lot, but I heard that. So there's a lot of things that are kind of making.
Yeah, but how about this one? But here's what's really going. I mean, I don't know if this is podcast crap, but here's what's really going on in a lot of this. Why are the studios all in New Mexico shooting? Because it's cheap and there's low regulations, right? And it's all kind. You can get a lot of new people there, right? And you can get tier 1 all day long, right? Because they don't want to spend the money, right? I mean, that's why they've left Los Angeles, right?
Right.
It's too expensive here. Everyone's too much. Everyone's rates are up, right? So they go there, and then, of course, they don't want to spend the money, and they're in a big hurry, right? And I could see this happening. The AD, he's trying to get to his next show, right? So hurrying stuff up, goes and grabs a pistol, right? We're okay. I got to go. Where was the armor and all this?
Right. Where was the armor?
You know what I'm talking about. A lot of people, I know we've all been there, lose the ability to say no because we're all trying to get to the next job because, as soon as this one's done, I need another job.
Phil, I remember years ago, we were doing a shot in Canoga Park and I was driving a car and on a process trailer, going to pull up another vehicle alongside me with the actors in it. I'm supposed to aim this gun out the window and fire a couple shots at their car. And when we were getting ready to do it, this man just comes running up to my car and hands me a gun, says, "Here, it's fully loaded," and starts to run off. And I said, whoa, wait. And he goes, "What?" I go, come here. I go, "What do you mean it's fully loaded? Can you show?" He got upset with me that I was taking the time to have him show me that the clip, the magazine in this little 9mm Beretta was actually all blanks. I was inconveniencing him, but I'm like, dude, I don't know who you are. You just come running up to me out of the shadows, hand me a gun and tell me it's fully loaded.
Yeah.
And I'm going to aim that at a human being, and this doesn't work out that way. We don't do that. But it was
right.
I felt like I was doing wrong by trying to do it the right way.
And that goes on in every department, everywhere in the industry. I mean, you can't deny it. Everyone's trying, and you should feel bad because you're really not going to get to go to the next show if you create a bunch of problems here, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. Hey, listen, Phil, I don't want to take up your whole night. I appreciate you so much, buddy, and you sharing your stories with me. And maybe if this wasn't such a horrible experience for you, maybe you could come on and do another Stunt Stories with me.
Dude, and if you talk to Combsy, man, I'll call Combs. I got to call him.
You got to call Gil.
I got to call him.
Because, he's going to, and also I know Gil, he's going to hear this show.
Dude,
he's going to hear it.
He taught me so much.
He taught us all. He's taught us all.
He started doing the first Indo overs, man, when we were packing those double freaking double 8-10-ounce black powder cannons in the back of those freaking vans and putting telephone poles back there, and we were running that cable across with pickle forks on there because we didn't know what was going to happen, man. I mean, come on, man. What's back there? Two 10-ounce bombs with telephone poles.
You're going to be fine, Phil. Here, cinch down your fight point a little bit harder.
That was all Gil, man. Gil was. Ask Gil about the gag he did out the window, doubling Sean Penn's brother.
Hey, you know what we should do? The three of us, we should do We should do an episode, all three of us together.
All right. Yeah.
Would that be fun?
I'd love it.
All right, brother. Hey, thank you so much, Phil. I really appreciate your time, buddy.
Good luck, Corey. Love you.
Love you too, man. And everybody, thanks for listening to Stunt Stories.
See you, Corey.